Alright, I'll explain all this and introduce this video in a second, but first of all, this is the most important thing in this whole video. These are the difficulty settings you'll need to make it as close to the Golf Club 2019 as possible. So you want to start on Pro-Am, that gets your swing timing all set up. Making this percentage only gets rid of these bars that are just pointless. The putt preview thing would be controversial, but you'll see later on that's all going to make sense. You want all this stuff off. This makes it closer to a pro diff. I'll explain it all, but like, this is what you're going to need. And I think there might be one change to that. And then you should be all set up. Awesome, and with those, that XP multiplier there, that 1.51, that's slightly higher than what you would have on Pro difficulty, so you could say it might be slightly harder than Pro. It's just what you're going to want. Now, the whole reason I'm recording over this, the whole reason I've changed all those settings is I must have played this thing for about 2 hours, banging my head against a wall, thinking this is far worse than the last game. It's not. It's better than the last game. It just requires far too much setup on your part, I would say. And that's because it plays pretty differently to the last one. Well, check out that cool character. But once you've got all those set up, then you'll have a more familiar experience, let's say. And I'd say right off the bat, presentation-wise, in every respect, this is a better game than the last one. But man, I was just convinced it was a worse playing game than the last one. And it's because you've got to change all those settings and get it as close as possible to 2019. And I might be wrong. Maybe you'll have some other preferences. But that's what is working for me, and that's what seems closest to Golf Club 2019.
Opener is about to begin. Hello everyone, Luke Elvey here alongside Rich Beam, and Rich, this next golfer is about to take part in their very first Corn Ferry Tour event. What are they up against?
So, I'm commentating over this basically just to demonstrate what the differences are and why those changes I made gets this closer to something more fun. Because I started off on Pro, Pro's too hard, and it's hard in a not fun way. It's hard in like a way where every single tiny mistake you make is way too punishing. Pro-Am is way too easy, and so that's why you got to change all those settings to get it close enough that this plays like the last one and keeps what was fun about the last one. Now, what I would say with these settings is that your approach shots are generally pretty easy, but then putting is a lot harder, and maybe putting is still too hard, because I still think putting seems completely different to the last game. It's way too fine, and I think you could pull back your club a lot further, but now it's just very finite in how far back you can go. But I might just let this play out for a little bit and comment if I see anything. Oh, I will say those little experience challenges are a nice little addition to this one. Gives you a nice little something to aim for each hole. So that's a nice change. Basically every change bar the gameplay is welcome. But just those little things that I felt you had to tweak, and I'm saving you 2 hours by telling you what to change it. It's all there in that first minute. And by the way, if you're not Martin, this isn't for you. This channel's called Mick's Picks for Marty. This has a target audience of 1. If you're not Martin, I don't care what you have to say about this.
This one's for birdie. Not sure if they understood the lie of the land there, Rich. 13 feet to the hole. Ooh,
So,
back there, horsey.
like, with that one, that was a 49% power shot. It was recommended to do 36%. If you get the power slightly wrong, it is
right here.
unnecessarily punishing, I would say. But I also think it's just something that you got to get used to. So it's not something I hate, but it's a big change from the last one. Putting seems much harder.
Unfortunately, moving down the leaderboard, that's not the direction to be heading. Here we are at the third. The tee is yours.
And I should come out and say right now, this is a bad performance. Like, still getting my head around this one. I mean, that's a great shot, but let's see if I actually get it in.
3 feet to the cup.
So I almost missed that.
Will drop in for birdie. Nicely played. Moving on up the leaderboard now after that hole. That should find the cut stuff.
I think that's a good demonstration. Approach shots are pretty easy, but I guess it kind of makes the game that you want to get these approach shots just right to try and make these putts as easy as possible because the putts are hard. So I think maybe that's the appeal of this one as opposed to 2019 where everything felt maybe a bit more balanced. But also, with this one and with 2019, it felt like it was too easy to recover from bad positions where, like, you get it in the bunker or something like that, and it probably wasn't punishing enough. I guess this one making it that you really need to get your approach shots as close to the hole as possible kind of gives a bit more interesting challenge there. Also, if you're expecting this to be funny or anything, this isn't funny. I just had a lot of thoughts I needed to get out there.
From 120 yards, 3 strokes off the lead.
And even for my target audience of one here, Martin, if you just want to bail at this point, just go for it. It's mostly just for those difficulty settings at the start. I'm telling you, you're going to save yourself a lot of time just setting it to what I set it to. What a cool guy. Look at him go.
Slim chance here for birdie, but you never know.
This is one of those lengthy putts. Good one just to get close. Oh, so close. Big putt for par coming up. Tracking. 3 feet to go.
I just think that judging these putting distances is really tricky. But also, as with 2019, something you get used to as you keep playing it more and more.
Now 5 strokes behind. Let's see what happens here on the 6th.
Looking to bounce back after that bogey at the last. That wasn't pretty. Hopefully this one is better.
From around 120 yards here, 5 shots off the pace.
Pretty good shot there.
And this putt is for birdie 3 on the scorecard. Ooh. This one just outside 7 feet to the hole.
Putt is underway.
And down she goes. Currently at plus.
So I feel
1
like
for the
watching
day.
this. If you're
Let's see what happens here
decent
on
with
the
putting,
7th.
these difficulty settings aren't too hard. Like, you can get them in. But I think I just kind of lose interest as I go on. Much like you watching this video, I imagine.
This looks to be heading to the green. Not a bad approach, that one. Not quite inside the birdie range, but you never know. Hole a long one. Still counts.
He's already had a few birdies today.
Again, that's another one. 34% was the suggested. I did 44%, and I basically doubled the distance of the putt. It just seems...
Well,
it's
guys,
tricky.
This looks like it's about 21 feet to the hole.
Commentary seems a lot better. Not from me, I'm saying in the game.
That was a gallant attempt. It's just about 3 feet away. Well, to be honest, those are the putts you have to make at
this one's not a good hole.
Yeah, well holed. Let's move on. The leader now has a 1-stroke advantage. This hole here is a par 4. Now this one looks to be heading down the runway. Time for the second shot at the 8th. Going with the pitching wedge here.
Oh, I just remembered something very important. This is genuinely incredibly important. So, when I was first playing this, that downswing tempo thing, I was just losing my mind with it. And every single time I was either like very slow, very fast, it just never seemed to be right. If you go into training and go into swing calibration, you do 10 swings and you basically try and do the exact same swing. Like, yeah, it's another one of these holes. Basically do the same swing 10 times and it kind of averages out your swings and then says, this is the way I like to swing. So you basically keep doing the same speed over and over and over, and then it gets to your swing. Then when you're swinging this, it's saying too fast or too slow based on how you swing. I'd say it's the very first thing that you would want to do in this, because otherwise the tempo is just maddening and you can't figure out what speed you're supposed to be doing it at. It's because you haven't calibrated it yet. So it's the very first thing I would do. Alright, I'm going to go back to not talking.
Chosen the 3-wood. Well, you're in the hands of the tree gods now. And here we are with the 3rd shot. Choosing the 9-iron here. Well, a little off the target with that one.
Not taking enough club to get it there.
This one's for bogey. This one's online. And that's a couple of bogeys on the bounce, I'm afraid.
2 bogeys in a row, never a good sign. Now playing a little defensively.
Welcome to this par 5 hole. Let's see if they can bounce back after that bogey. Well, this should find the short grass. Second shot here at the 10th. That ball looked a little thirsty.
I vaguely recall this might have been where I started to majorly lose interest in this round. Although I think I recovered pretty well.
He has this putt to save his par.
Oh, no, this is pretty important. So this is the first time I used the putt preview thing. I could understand the argument that it seems a little cheaty, but I would say the thing is you still have to adjust for it afterwards. You only get 3 around and you still have to putt accurately, which seems a lot harder in this one. And I think the other 2 times I used the putt preview, I still miss it. So I reckon 3 per round is perfect for that. Oh, also, these replays are terrible because you can't skip them till you get to this point, and it basically looks exactly the same as your last play. Also, this is only the 2nd round I've played. The last time the replay came up was when I had a chip that missed the green, so I was like, why would I get a replay of that?
You've reached the 11th hole, and the tee is yours. That reminded me of the Big Easy, silky smooth. And John, what's this one looking like?
Well, guys, the lie is, considering the situation is pretty good. Hopefully they can get a hold of this one.
Looks to have opted for the 8-iron. Oh, absolutely flushed. Oh, this will be good for the momentum. Let's make this birdie putt. This one's dialed in. Oh, what a shame. That would have been a nice one to hole. And they'll walk away with a par on this one. The leader now has a one-stroke advantage. Here we are in front of a par 3.
Boy, I was really thinking about this one. Does all that thinking pay off? Not quite.
That's a shame. Had a chance to hit the green, but couldn't.
I also say these chips, like that first one is the one I should have taken. And I think, even though it looks really short, it's the one you should always take. I think this goes way over.
Didn't that look good for a long time?
Yeah. Probably should have stuck with the one they suggested.
Looking good.
Nice putt, though.
Momentum maintainer. Well done. And that's now 5 over for the round. Welcome to this hole. It's a par 4. That should find the fairway. Playing from around 110 yards out. Opting for the 9-iron. Yep, that shot's safely on the green.
He's already made a few birdies today, and this is another good look.
Go in.
Oh, that is a good putt.
And he holds it. What a putt.
So that's why I think these putting settings feel hard most of the time, but that is a very satisfying putt when you can pull it off.
Moving up the leaderboard. I like it.
Let's see what happens here at the 14th.
Also, I was totally convinced that I was going to come back at this point, and don't think that happens. Tired.
Lovely effort, that.
Thanks, mate.
Just taking a look at this one, Rich. Do you think it's makeable?
Look, I got to say, I'm really not liking their chances here, but you never know. Stranger things have happened.
Pretty straightforward 4-footer coming up here.
Oh,
That's too bad. You'll have to settle for bogey there.
that's painful.
Hole's done. And
You can tell that was painful because I skipped through the cutscene very quickly, so I must have been frustrated.
And on the tee now, coming off the bogey. Have a bit of a sting in the tail, I'd imagine.
Oh, crowd loves that one.
Yep, that'll work. That's fine.
From around 170 yards here.
Yeah, I seem to be rushing through these shots now. So I think this is well past the point where I've lost interest.
Well, that'll work. Up on the dance floor.
Not to say that it's a bad game and I wasn't enjoying myself, but I was very aware that I was doing this for the purposes of a video and maybe just wanted to getting to editing the thing. Alright, so here's another part preview. You can see, you know, this is helpful, but also I'm way off on this, so I still have to adjust it correctly, still have to get the power right. Plenty of opportunities to mess it up. It also seems more punishing with like the direction that your stick goes. Like you can see I was all over the place.
Well, I like the look of this.
So, you know, maybe if I did that in more of a straight line, it probably would have gone in, but...
Just hammered that through the line.
So, yeah, I feel like 3 of those per round is pretty fair.
15 feet in distance.
Oh, yeah, I've totally lost interest by this point. There we go.
Ah, that's untimely. Back-to-back bogeys as we head down the stretch.
So, yeah, this would have been a pretty decent scoring round if not for my bad putting, so, you know, something to work on.
Par 3s always offer up that hope of a hole-in-one.
And I would say, given that this is aimed not just primarily, but exclusively to Marty. I still feel like Pro would be a good multiplayer difficulty, but you just lose interest in the career mode playing it at Pro because it's too hard, and you just get thrashed constantly. I played the, Q School on Pro difficulty, and came dead last, so it's just not fun. Is this 17th or 18th? Oh, 16th, God.
Okay, steady now. Right on 4 feet. Should make this one. That limits the damage.
Also, I'll say this game is on Switch. Kind of considering buying 2 copies of it. Have the Switch copy for single player career mode, and have this one for multiplayer with Marty. And you know, I mean, it's a colossal waste of money, but that's nothing new to me. So, I mean, I'm just envisioning myself playing this game and watching Footy Classified. And it just seems like my dream life, so I don't know why I wouldn't be pursuing that path. But for some reason, the Switch version comes out in a couple of weeks, so maybe I'll lose interest by then. Who knows? Or I'll get too deep into this career mode and just decide to stick with it. I don't know.
On the green now, but a bit of work left to do here. And this one is for his par. Oh, gee, that line was looking good, wasn't it?
I feel like the frustrated player animations are better in this one too. I feel like that's how I would react to that shot.
Slide down the standings after that hole. Teeing off here at the lucky last, the 18th. Not a bad line, this one. Playing this shot from about 180 yards.
And maybe it's worth playing it on the default difficulty, like default Pro difficulty once, just to understand all their weird meters and stuff and kind of get a sense of the timing, because it is different. But then turning all that stuff off, because I feel like it doesn't help.
And this putt for a final score of
I've managed to talk for 22 minutes now. That's pretty good. Alright, so here's the last time I tried this. So I'm like, oh, perfect. This shot's going to go straight in. Excellent. And then I hit it too hard. So, you know, I like it. I like the little previews. But only 3 per round. I think that's the maximum. Oh, and he loves it. Loves that 8 over. Alright, so that's it. I think that's everything I've got to say. It's good, but yeah, just need a little bit of tweaking. Oh, and happy birthday.
Alongside you as well, Luke.
Well, that just about concludes our coverage. On behalf of Rich Beam, I'm Luke Helvey. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.